Trump's tariffs on parts in the United States, they're now in effect. And this is going to have enormous impacts on many manufacturers in America. Here's how those tariffs actually work. Hello, my friends. Welcome to the channel. I'm Sam Evans. You're watching the Electric Viking. Guys, thank you for supporting us, whether that's by becoming a YouTube member or via helping us out on Patreon. Really appreciate you guys. Auto parts tariffs went into effect on the 3rd of May, which is 1 month after the Trump administration placed levies on, or tariffs on vehicle imports. The 25% duty applies to a very wide range of components that make up a significant portion of a new vehicle's value. And unfortunately for most manufacturers, fortunately for Tesla, they, to be honest, get most of their parts, most of them do, from outside of America. The parts tariffs are part of a bid by the Trump administration to incentivize more domestic auto manufacturing and to basically bring back an automotive supply chain to America. Executives and analysts, though, have warned that the tariffs will increase new vehicle costs. As a result, many people have been buying cars up quickly because they think prices will go up, and could threaten production because of greater supply chain volatility. Here's an overview of how the tariffs work. Automotive News says the parts tariffs applies to a host of powertrain, engine, and transmission components, as well as suspension items, driving and steering parts, and safety components as well. Most things, in fact, they apply to. Importers of those products are required to pay a 25% import tax on the parts value. Any auto components not on the list are subject to tariffs President Donald Trump placed on US trading partners in April. A baseline tariff on imports from most countries is set at 10%. So it is a little confusing, but what this means is that most Canadian and Mexican auto parts are exempt. So the Trump administration has obviously had negotiations with Canada and Mexico, and they've changed the rules here. The tariff includes a major carve-out for many parts sourced from Canada and Mexico, and components that meet the United States-Mexico-Canada agreement's regional content rules will continue to cross-border tariff-free, I should say, for now. That might change depending on Trump's whims. About 4 out of the 5 auto parts imported to the US in 2023 met those requirements, according to a 2024 report by the Office of the US Trade Representative. So the exemption will keep flow of parts moving in the highly integrated North American supply chain, analysts have said. A lot of the parts, as you can see, that go into American-made cars come from Mexico and Canada, but actually a lot of them come from South Korea, Japan, and China as well. It's unclear if the USMCA exemption will be permanent. So the exemption for Canadian and Mexican parts will be permanent. I suspect maybe not. According to Trump's auto tariff executive order, the parts were to remain duty-free only until the Commerce Department comes up with a mechanism to apply the tariff to the value of their non-US content. In other words, Trump is saying, don't worry, we will tariff Mexican and Canadian parts too. We just need to figure out how to work out the logistics behind it. Trump, on the 29th of April, signed 2 orders aimed at providing tariff relief to the automotive industry. Auto tariffs, including those on parts, will no longer stack on top of steel and aluminium levies. And the federal government will reimburse automakers for a portion of the parts tariffs they pay for US-made vehicles. So, the industry, which has been lobbying the White House for weeks, welcomed the relief, but many industry executives and analysts have warned that this basically would not prevent new vehicle prices from rising or address concerns about supplier financial distress. It's worth mentioning that Tesla is exempt from this. Well, potentially. If your car has 85% or more parts that are sourced from America, which most Teslas do, or they're very close to that number, then you're exempt. So what this means is Tesla, between 84 to 86% number, Tesla just has to make sure that all their cars are 85% or above, and they pay no tariffs. So as you can see, this situation, Tesla isn't completely unscathed, but they're going to be in the best position by far. And keep in mind, there's automakers like Mazda, Subaru, Toyota, Porsche, Audi, where either all of their cars or the majority of them are not made in America, and they're going to be paying 25% blanket tariffs on those cars, period. There's nothing they can do to get around that other than try to make more cars in America. But that's going to take a long time for them to do. Porsche themselves said it wasn't worth the financial investment to build a factory in America, to manufacture cars in America. So Porsche is being hit pretty hard. As a result, Porsche actually and Audi have put cars at docks in America. They're just sitting there. They're hoping that Trump will change his mind, and that these cars, dealerships are saying we're not getting many cars from Porsche and Audi because they're holding them on the docks at the ports and hoping, that Trump will say, oh no, we forget about it, it's all good. I don't think that's going to happen. What do you guys think? Let me know what your thoughts are about all this in the comments. Whilst Tesla orders in Europe and Australia have gone down, they've skyrocketed in other places, which is very intriguing. Here are the countries where Tesla is actually bucking the global downward trend in deliveries this year. Sales of Tesla vehicles across Europe have unquestionably gone down. That is a fact. And some people are ascribing that to numerous things, including the fact that a lot of people are waiting for the new Tesla Model Y. But there is also a fact here that is this. The Model 3, sales of the Model 3 have gone down significantly. Even though it's a very good value for money car, it's not selling well at all. And that's the same in Australia. However, some countries don't seem to care about Elon Musk and his politics or honestly anything else. They're just, going ahead and doing what they would normally do. Unfortunately for them, Tesla owners are not being attacked brutally like they are in the United States. Hello, my friends. Welcome to the channel. I'm Sam Evans. You're watching the Electric Viking. Great to have you with us here in Australia. There is no question that Tesla's still the biggest selling automaker here in Australia, but there's no question that Tesla sales have been affected here. They've gone down significantly, no doubt about it. However, in the UK, Tesla sales are actually up 20%, which is quite a surprise. I personally wouldn't have expected this. Tesla sales in the UK soared by more than 20% in February, in spite of the fact that there is no new Model Y yet, reaching nearly 4,000 vehicles. And the rise in Tesla UK sales is quite a surprise to everyone, including myself. On Thursday, March the 5th, the Society of Motor Manufacturers and Traders reported that the Tesla Model 3 and Model Y ranked second and third as the UK's most popular cars, not just EVs, but Tesla was second and third, period, for any type of car. The Mini Cooper, surprisingly, was the best-selling car. Second, Model Y. Third, Model 3. Shocking, considering the Model Y is now old, very old, about to be replaced by a much better vehicle. Tesla sold 3,852 vehicles in the UK last month. Model 3 and Model Y drove sales. Their increase meant sales are up by 21% versus last year. EVs, fortunately, which is great news, now account for 25% of new registrations, fueled by demand for Teslas.